Right, hello, and welcome back
Hello.
to the Nerdmotron Movie Commentaries. Hurrah!
Hurrah indeed. We have returned.
We have. We're back like the proverbial bad penny.
Yeah.
2 bad pennies.
2 bad pennies. See for
That's a
yourself.
bargain.
But yeah, 2 bad pennies.
So this is a series of things where one or more fools make hastily researched noises about films no one cares about.
That sounds about right.
Sounds about right? Yeah. And as you can hear, I'm once again joined by a special guest.
Hello, it is me.
Now, anyone who knows me, and you know me,
I know you.
anyone who knows me knows I am absolutely silly for superhero and comic book stuff. Movies in particular, but just general stuff. But I take a look at the way things are with the genre these days.
The current state.
The current state of things, and it's not a despair exactly, it's more of a sort of melancholy sigh.
A sorrowful frown.
Yeah, just a longing for the good old days.
Yeah.
And so, for this season of whatever the fuck this is, we're going to be exploring 5 classic comic book and comic book adjacent, we'll get into that, movies from the dawn of time, by which I mean the 90s.
That's the dawn of time.
Yeah, there wasn't anything before the 90s. Don't look into that. There's just nothing there.
There was a flock of seagulls and a power shortage. That's about it. Can't remember that.
So that was a time when studios looked at the success of Batman 89 and asked themselves, can we do that too, only cheaper and less good? and of course, we'll round things off with a bit of trilogy action, as we usually do. Not going to spoil that, because that one's going to be...
I have no clue.
Well,
I am excited.
Keeping that one in my back pocket, you know?
I can tell.
So, join us for however long it takes for us to get these out, as we ask ourselves the all-important question, are these actually any good?
Well, we're about to find out.
We're about to find out. So, the ones that we're looking at today, we're looking at Dick Tracy from 1990. We'll also got The Rocketeer from 1991.
Mm-hmm.
The Shadow from 1994. The Phantom from 1996. And lastly, we'll be looking at The Mask of Zorro.
The only one I've seen.
From 1998.
Crikey.
So let's get into it, shall we? It's Dick Tracy.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to stand up and do it because the buttons aren't working.
Yeah, great.
Let's get ready to go.
In 3, 2, 1, play. You're supposed to wait for the countdown.
I couldn't.
You idiot.
I know.
Anyway,
Touchstone
Pictures.
Fading out.
Fading it and gone.
Touchstone again.
Pictures again.
Presents.
Silver
Screen Partners 4?
I guess.
I guess.
I wonder what happened to the first 3.
A Warren Beatty film.
Isn't it just?
Well, it is. Well, I literally had no idea about any of this film, so it's all very new. There we are, we're in.
We're in and rolling. So you've never
seen
never
that.
encountered
I already
this
want the
before?
cool gadget watch.
I just want every... Well, maybe not every article of clothing and gadget and device in this. But certainly most of the stuff that Dick Tracy has. There we go.
Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy, in case you were having any doubts.
That's a hat.
That is a banana yellow hat and a banana yellow coat. Doesn't he just cut a silhouette, you know?
He does. It's because he's got backlighting.
Yes. Well, that's the thing about this. Like, look at this!
Oh, it looks good already. Is it a model shot?
It's little bits of
matte
it.
painting.
There's a lot of matte painting. I think there's a little bit of model work in it.
Animated matte painting with the smoke there. I like that.
Yeah, like it's really quite impressive. Like one of the things about this film is it's a very silly film, but it looks incredible. Like look
Music
at that.
by Danny Elfman, so it's going to be great.
Just quite seamlessly.
That has not been in a bin.
Blending, the matte painting into the live action bit of it. Yeah, it's good stuff.
I think the 90s were the end of that era, though, weren't they? Of like real effects and composite in-camera effects and shots and stuff. And now it's just so much easier for everyone to use green screen, and it just feels so inorganic.
Yeah, it does a bit. Yeah.
Oh.
So, let's have a little chat about the cast, shall we?
I've already seen one name pop up. I was not aware of it, so yeah, let's go.
Lots of interesting names in this.
Are they interesting or not interesting?
We'll be getting to that. Don't you worry about that. There'll be plenty of that.
Oh, that's quite the face.
Yeah. Oh, just you wait until you see some of the faces. Like the makeup.
That's quite the forehead. Is that? Oh.
Wait until you see Al Pacino.
Oh my god, Al Pacino.
Al Pacino was in it.
Spoilers. Let's discuss
this guy.
Oh my god!
Look at this guy. This big head and this little face.
I mean, I get how this is a comic book movie. I've never seen comic book movies take this so literally. That's how they should do. What's his name from Spider-Man? Big guy.
That could be anyone.
No, the big guy with the tiny head in the Across the Spider-Verse one, or Into the Spider-Verse. What's his name?
I don't know.
I can't believe I can't remember this guy's name, and everybody listening to this, who knows, will be telling me I'm an idiot.
You're asking me to remember a large
Daredevil
Spider-Man
villain.
What, Kingpin?
Kingpin. But I was thinking the other name.
Did you not pull Kingpin?
I don't know, because I wasn't thinking Kingpin, I was thinking of his proper name.
Well, don't. He's got a nickname for a reason.
What's his proper name again?
Wilson Fisk.
Wilson Fisk, that's what I was
Wilson Fisk, you fool.
Fisk.
Anyway.
Carry on.
Warren Beatty.
Indeed.
He also directed this, as you saw. Starring as Detective Dickolas Tracington.
He's using his radio watch.
He's got, yeah. Like, before it was cool. Remember there was this was probably around about the time of, like, calculator watches and...
I had one of those sorts
probably
of around this time, actually. Still got it somewhere.
You remember those watches you had that were like an infrared device that could, like, switch TVs off from a distance if you were a scamp?
I used to use it in school and turn the school tellies off.
Yeah.
The 90s.
There he is, Warren Beatty. Eat lead, Tracy.
That's a very accurate gun.
Yeah.
A little bit
almost
of spray.
Almost comic book accurate, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that was the thing you were saying about this being, like, very comic booky. It is, because Warren Beatty very specifically wanted it to be as close to the comic book as possible, as faithful to it as possible. I mean, even down to the colouring of it, because you'll notice it's like...
It's very technicolory.
Yeah, it's using, like, the 7 colours that they would have used in print. And there's no, like, shades of anything. It's all
look at the perspective on that as well. All the janky angles. I love it.
It's so good. And the train going through and all the smoke and everything. It's very much sort of Gotham City Batman 89 kind of looking. But I love it. I just love it so much. And like it moves over and like zooms in on that, and that's like a real thing that's like
a nice
blended seamlessly with the whole. Oh, anyway, Warren Beatty. You might remember him from Bonnie and Clyde in 1967.
Not seen it.
You may know him from Heaven Can Wait, 1978.
Not seen it.
You might even, for some reason, have seen Ishtar, 1987.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, don't watch that. It's bad. Or maybe you only know Warren Beatty from the 2 very bizarre Dick Tracy pseudo-sequels that exist.
I don't even know him from this.
Well, there you go.
It's mad. I think I've somehow escaped most of Warren Beatty's film career.
I don't know him from a lot of stuff.
Can you tell me anything that I might have seen that he's been in?
Not really. I don't think I've ever really seen anything else that he's been in apart from this. Look at this guy.
Is his face meant to look like an oyster?
Yeah, that guy is called Lips Manless. And he's got big, weird lips.
I don't know how I got
That's
these scars.
That's just the sort of ridiculous...
It's pretty ridiculous.
Comic bookiness that we're talking about. But anyway, here's someone you'll recognise.
She's got a normal face. That's Madonna.
That is Madonna.
Is she the only person that doesn't have a weird crack on her face in this?
Well, you'll see.
Does she get a weird crap on her face?
You'll see.
Well, I'll see. I'm watching.
So yeah, Madonna stars as Breathless Mahoney. You might know...
Sorry, okay, Breathless Mahoney.
Breathless Mahoney. You better get used to these names because they're all very, very silly.
This is not at all what I was expecting. I'm already quite liking it.
It's good. It's really good. Yeah, you might know Madonna from like an incredibly long music career.
Yeah?
Maybe. She's no stranger to the silver screen, though. Did you know she was in A League of Their Own, apparently?
No, I didn't.
Well, I've written that in my notes, so it must be true. Did you know she was in Snake Eyes, but not the Nick Cage one, so who really cares?
I don't think I've even seen the Nick Cage one.
No, I don't think I have either.
These commentaries really are revealing the gaps in my film knowledge, aren't they?
Sure are. And shocking. Mine too, to be frank.
Good.
And did you know she was in Die Another Day?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, but again...
Oh, wait, no, hang on. Did she not she sang the theme?
Did she?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
She did the... I can't remember. I was trying to sing it. I can't remember. It had the words Die Another Day in it.
Yeah,
I think I'll die another day. Or something like that.
I don't think it was very good, was it?
No, the movie wasn't great either.
Next up, we've got Alfredo James Pacino.
Oh,
or Big Jimmy P to his pals.
See the Dunkachino guy?
No. We don't talk about that.
Well, I do.
See, look at this! Look at this!
That's nice!
Diving in front of the train and everything, it just looks so good.
Is that a drawing of a train, like, pasted over a track
so.
or something?
I think so, yeah. I think it is.
He's got quite a gormless face, hasn't he, Warren Beatty? He looked like he was looking at a green screen there. It looked like he didn't know what he was reacting to. Just like, oh, what? Where am I?
Well, that's probably not inaccurate, to be fair.
Is he just drunk all the time or something?
Well, no, because he would have been...
directing.
He would have been acting about much... And I mean, Dick Tracy is not exactly the most emotive character. He's barely even a character, really.
I was trying to say, you see in this bloke here, does he remind you of the Bolchinian from Men in Black 2?
Which bloke? Oh, here, the
guy with the big face on the right. Now on
the guy left. Getting the shit rocked out of him.
Yeah, him. He looks like something out of Men in Black. Oh, I like that. That's almost Tim Burton.
Very good. That is very good.
It's not a very stable shot.
See, he just really loves beating the shit out of criminals. Anyway, Al Pacino...
You want to give the kid a piece of chicken? What?
Yeah, he was being abusive to the little kid. Who's the little kid from Hook?
No way.
We'll get onto that.
Okay.
So yeah, Al Pacino as Big Boy Caprice. I don't think we've actually encountered him yet, but... Nope. Oh, I think he's about to show up, actually. Get ready for some incredible makeup action on old Alfredo. Look at him!
Good lord.
His big bum chin!
The worst thing is the pencil moustache. I mean, no wonder he was okay for doing Dunkachino.
The interesting thing is, he was so impressed by the job that the makeup artist did on this film that he kept that same makeup artist for pretty much every film he worked on. Yeah.
That's good.
Where does one even begin with Big Jimmy P?
At the beginning, presumably.
Well, you could. I don't think I went back quite that far. The Godfather?
I've not actually seen it.
I mean, it's good.
This is becoming too much of a pattern.
It's one of those films that is just universally recognised as good, but at the same time, it's kind of long and depressing, and it's worth watching for cinema history purposes. Yeah. But spicy hot take here: The Godfather. It's fine.
It's fine. Okay.
Godfather Part 2.
He's in that as well.
He's in that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Godfather Part 3.
Is there a third one? Yeah.
There is a third one.
I haven't seen that one either. No.
Yeah, it's pretty good as well.
Is
actually.
It good?
A lot of people hate that one, but it's actually pretty good. Interesting thing about Godfather Part 3 came out the same year as this.
Really?
Yeah. Donnie Brasco.
Not seen
Familiar with that? That's pretty good. It's another gangster
To be honest,
flick. It's based on a true story, although it's the story gets totally changed in the film.
It's interesting, Buried in Concrete, but not reacting.
Yeah. Buried in Concrete.
Crazy.
That's pretty. Well, that'll finish you off, won't it?
Yeah.
What was I saying? I can't remember.
You were talking about the movie.
Oh, Donnie Brasco.
Donnie
Brasco. Yeah, it's about like an FBI person infiltrating the mob. It's pretty good, and he sort of accidentally becomes friends with one of them, and yeah, it's fine.
Whoops.
Insomnia.
Never heard of it.
The Christopher Nolan. Is it Christopher Nolan? I think it's Christopher Nolan with Robin Williams. Really good movie.
Pass.
The Irishman.
I avoided that because the face stuff just freaked me out.
Yeah,
watching all the trailers.
I think it might actually be the longest movie ever made. I have sat down and watched the whole thing, and my God, it's a slog.
No. The extended editions of The Hobbit.
At least there was stuff happening in those. At least there was
Stuff happened in those?
Yeah, at least there was like action scenes and things.
Okay.
You know, there was movement and stuff occurring on screen. The Irishman, it's just a bunch of really old, semi-retired actors just shambling around, being all gangstery. It's just, I don't get it. I don't get what's so good about it, really.
I don't really get gangster movies, to be honest. I just find it all very sort of weird. Like, I don't have any, like, gangsters are just weird. They're just, why are you behaving so strangely? I don't get it. Like, I don't understand the whole vibe.
It's like,
we're not impressed by your behaviour.
But you can certainly say if you need a guy to play a down on his luck mobster and or cop, then Big Jimmy P is the one to do those things.
I'll bear that in mind when I'm casting my next movie.
Great. Excellent. Next up, we've got Charlie Corsmo as the Kid. Simply referred to as the Kid. You might know this guy from Hook, where he also played an annoying little shitbag.
Was he also called the Kid?
No, he had an actual name in that. I can't remember what it was.
We'll call him the Kid.
He's just the Kid.
What's comfy? That sounds like a Trumpism. Comfy shoes. I'm totally stupid. It's just spelled wrong. It's a double E instead of a Y.
Look at that. Look at that big can of chili. Just a red can with chili written on it.
It's like the stuff in Red Dwarf, the beer.
Yeah.
Or Dharma.
Speaking of Hook,
yes.
Guess who else we've got in this? We've got Dustin Hoffman as Mumbles.
Does he not speak very clearly?
Precisely. Guess. Yeah, you can guess a character's entire personality in this purely based on their name.
That's some great writing.
Like Dick Tracy. Well, it is great writing, actually.
Dick Tracy is a bit of an idiot, and he
draws
over things.
Dick Tracy. He's just a very standard guy with a little bit of a flair to him. You know, mumbles. He mumbles. Lips manless. He's got big lips.
And he's single? I don't know.
Well, he is now because he's dead.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Dustin Hoffman, you might know him from Stuff.
Yep.
Graduate.
He's an excellent driver.
Kramer versus Kramer. Rain Man. We don't talk about Rain
Just
Man.
said that.
Sphere. Are you familiar with Sphere?
Is that the sequel to Cube?
No, it's not.
I'm joking.
I wonder if anyone has actually seen that. I used to like that movie a lot, and then I watched it again recently and was like, this is kind of crap, actually.
That sounds like a lot of old movies.
Yeah.
I think it's sad when you rewatch movies that you loved as a kid and you realise, oh my god, these are actually trash.
Yeah, it is a bit.
Like, it's genuinely sad when you go. You shouldn't rewatch stuff from your youth, I think.
Well, I disagree. This is one from my youth.
Well, I've never seen it, so I'm
very much enjoyed. Like all the movies that we're doing this season are ones that I've watched frequently since a very young age.
Is he choreographing these dances? This just does not feel right.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's supposed to feel awkward because he's a horrible, sleazy gangster.
And you know he's horrible and sleazy because he's got horrible makeup and a hunchback, is that what you're saying? Or is it... I mean, everything else about him.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing about it. Is
it's such a weird caricature.
It's all very stylized and very comic booky. And like I say, you can guess a character's entire personality from just the name and the look of them, you know?
So that melty wax face guy, that was Mumbles, was it?
That was Mumbles, who is currently being tortured, effectively. Because that's how you do it in the cop world. You just torture people.
Oh my god, I can't get over Al Pacino.
Dustin Hoffman also in Stranger Than Fiction.
I like that.
Which is a very good,
great movie,
highly praiseworthy movie I've written here. Highly praiseworthy.
I think it's the only good film with thingy in it.
What, Will Ferrell?
Yeah,
I've noted that. It's the only actual tolerable performance from him.
Although was maybe it's mixing up two films. Is Stranger Than Fiction the one where he's a tax auditor?
I can't remember.
Maggie Gyllenhaal's in it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe I'm mixing up two films. But I think
Stranger Than Fiction's the one where...
No, it's the one with Emma
Thompson
is the
writing
author.
the thing, and it's...
But I feel like the story that she's
head.
writing also has Maggie. I can't remember.
I don't know. Or care.
It was good.
Dustin Hoffman also seems to have had a lot of involvement with the Kung Fu Panda series.
Ugh.
Which I don't have any experience of, and doesn't really seem worth it.
I think I saw the first one.
We've got Glenn Headley, or Headley, as Tess Trueheart, who is Dick Tracy's special Goyle. See, this is
pretty torturous.
This is a violation of
The Geneva Convention.
some sort of rights. But I mean, this is like the 1920s, so...
It's also a comic, so you don't
human rights didn't really exist.
No.
Arguably, some might say they still don't.
Oh, politics.
Sorry to get political, everyone, in this commentary on a movie about a policeman. So yeah, Glenn Headley, mostly TV stuff that she's been in. She was in an episode of Frasier, which is coming back soon, or is back already.
Crikey.
Isn't that exciting?
Not at all.
No,
I wasn't a fan of Frasier, to be honest.
Oh, really? I love Frasier. It's very easy watching. It's one of those shows where you can just
thought it was a bit pretentious, but also boring.
Well, that's kind of the funny thing of it is like Frasier and his brother and a lot of the other characters are just really pretentious, boring fools, and it's just funny watching them try to interact with like the real world. Mm-hmm. But it does get kind of old after a while, and it did drop off quite significantly after a while. But it's just one of those shows that's just quite inoffensive. You could just kind of put it on in the background while you're doing other stuff, and just sort of tune in every so often, and there'll be some silly gag going on. It's pretty good.
I'll take your word for it.
I don't remember the episode that Glenn Headley / Headley was in, but there were hundreds of episodes, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Obviously a memorable performance.
Dick Van Dyke!
Oh yeah, is he in this as well?
He's in this
Lord.
as D.A. Fletcher.
Does he have loads of crap on his face?
Not really. I think he's got a little bit of makeup going on, but not too much.
I'm surprised Warren Beatty didn't give himself like an extra pointy chin or something, or like a stronger jawline, or
well,
make his face look exactly like the comic character.
I suppose he could have, but I mean, he looks kind of like Dick Tracy from the comics anyway, because Dick Tracy just doesn't really look. He just looks like a normal guy, you know. And Warren Beatty is just the most normal-looking man in the world, I think.
It's almost comfortable, Jesus.
He's a little comfortable. Yeah, that's a diplomatic way of putting it, I think. So yeah, Dick Van Dyke, who you'll probably know from Mary Poppins, perhaps.
I have seen that.
I know him.
And Diagnosis Murder.
Well, I was just going to say, I know him better as Dr. Mark Sloan in Diagnosis Murder.
Oh yeah.
You know what I loved about Diagnosis Murder?
Dick Van Dyke being
Dick Van Dyke was in it, that's one thing. But also, Dick Van Dyke's son was in it, playing Dick Van Dyke's character's son.
Yeah.
I just find that very funny.
Got a lot of Nepo baby.
Paul Sorvino was Lips Manless.
Okay.
You'll probably recognise him from various gangster roles across time.
But not from his face in this.
He's not totally unrecognisable, I would say. Anyway, Goodfellas, for example, he was in that.
Right.
He was also in an episode, speaking of Diagnosis Murder, he was in an episode of Murder, She Wrote.
Oh.
Which was another one that I really enjoyed. Well, did I? No, I didn't really like that one so much. It was always Diagnosis Murder for me. And Murder, She Wrote was a very close second, I guess. And he will be showing up again in this season of commentaries.
Ooh.
So...
Do we have a spurious and unnecessary tangential link between all the movies?
No, probably not. I mean, the link between the movies is that they're all comic book movies that nobody likes or has heard of.
Nice.
And some of them aren't really comic book movies, but we'll get to that.
Who's this? She looks like a budget Judy Greer.
Oh, that was that would have been Tess Trueheart. That would have been.
Don't think I recognise him.
What was like the redhead lady? Yeah, that's.
So he just had a really awkward and unrealistic kiss with.
Yeah, well, they've got a bit of an awkward relationship. Really, that's kind of their whole thing.
I do quite like his coat.
It's so good, isn't it? Who else have we got? Okay. Mandy Patinkin. Mandy Patinkin.
Come on, I'm trying to read it. Where is it?
Patinkin.
Yep, great.
As 88 keys. Guess what he does?
Does he have a whole bunch of keys on a key ring? Or does he...
No, think about it. 88 keys.
He's a pianist.
Watch your language. No way to talk about somebody.
I said he's a pianist.
Oh, okay. He was in Alien Nation with James Caan, who is also in this movie.
Have I seen Alien Nation? It rings a bell.
You might have done. I wouldn't bother revisiting it. It's pretty bad.
There he is.
There he is. Dickie boy. I mean, Dick Van Dyke, not Dick Tracy. You know what I mean.
I can't tell if he does have stuff on his face.
He doesn't really.
Just glasses and a false moustache.
Yeah. Mandy Patinkin also played Hippocrates in an episode of Disney Hercules cartoon. Done a lot of TV stuff. Does a lot of charity work as well.
So janky, just like that running in front of a car and then being rescued from in front of a car. Just awfully staged, but I get it.
So yeah, that's fun. Other names that you'll know from this, James Caan, as I say, and Kathy Bates in it as well. You'll know them from Misery.
Sounds fun.
Not really. James Tolkien. Not Tolkien, but Tolkien.
Okay, no relation then.
He's the principal from Back to the Future.
Oh!
He's in this. At some point.
Strickland?
Yeah.
Okay.
Seymour Cassell.
That name rings a bell.
From Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums, Life Aquatic.
Okay.
Catherine O'Hara.
As in Home Alone?
Home Alone,
nice.
Beetlejuice, yeah.
Nice.
So there
this
you go.
This is quite the star-studded cast.
It certainly is. Speaking of star-studded, this is the section where we get on to fun little bits. Just fun bits.
Little bobs and pieces.
Little bits and bobs.
Bobs and pieces?
I'm not calling it that. You keep trying, and it's not happening.
We'll get there.
Nope. So other actors considered for the role of Constable Dickmond Tracebury.
Okay.
Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see it. But not a big Clint Eastwood fan, honestly. Harrison Ford.
That would have been good.
If
he wasn't completely stoned and actually cared.
I don't reckon he would have done it. Well, obviously he didn't do it because he didn't do it. But no, I don't think he would have been right for this role at all, to be honest. Richard Gere.
Good lord.
Yeah. Tom Selleck. I know you're a big fan of Tom Selleck.
I don't mind Tom Selleck, it's his moustache out.
Yeah, fair enough. And Mel Gibson, apparently. But I mean, it was the 90s, so he was like considered for basically everything.
And now...
now...
You know better.
Yes. Although he's kind of...
Still a Jew-hating idiot.
Yeah, he's still a horrible, horrible person. But he seems to have kind of rejuvenated his reputation somewhat, somehow. Because he's still getting work. But, again, not very much of it. But yeah, horrible, horrible little man.
Horrible man.
Moving on.
Yes.
So, Warren Beatty has said in interviews that he learned to read from reading Dick Tracy comic strips. You were flailing at the screen there.
Yeah, I think the subtitles will stop working.
Oh, well, that's fine. I mean, you could try and fix it if you want.
Oh, no, it's working again. I think just that last line.
See, the subtitles only appear when people are actually speaking.
I think
they don't just put words on the screen for no reason. See, the kids saved the day! The kids saved the day! Yeah, it's movie magic, isn't it?
Nice Tommy gun.
Movie magic, innit? I love the reaction from Tess to this whole situation.
That's it.
Well, she's a little bit panicked, but then she's just like, yeah,
Let's get them.
This is just life with a cop, I guess. This is life with Dick Tracy. Yeah, see, she's just like, oh, Tracy. It's all just part of the life, innit? Just guess I just got to get used to being having attempted murder done to me every day of my life.
Like, he does just have the same expression in every scene, right? Does he have any faces other than this? Any expressions?
Not really, no.
Can he act in anything else?
He's a good actor.
But just has no faces.
I think it's just, at this point in his career, he was... Well, to be honest, I think the making of this movie kind of fucked him up a bit, but...
Really?
Yeah. But, yeah, I think he's kind of getting towards the end of his career at this point.
Oh, really?
And this is kind of his pet project kind of thing. And, yeah, he could be putting in more effort, but I mean, he's directing at the same time.
Yeah. We'll forgive it.
He's fine. Like I say, the character of Dick Tracy isn't really a character. He's just the most stock character you could possibly have. So I don't mind that the performance is kind of stale
Fair enough.
and motionless, because it doesn't really need to be anything else. Anyway, to evoke the film's comic origins, he chose to limit the colour palette to of the movie to 6 colours. I think it said 7
earlier, yeah.
6. Oof. So we've got red, blue, yellow, green, orange, purple, plus black and white. I mean, you could see that because you're looking at the colours.
Can't see them all right now, but I can see some of them.
Well, I mean, up to this point.
But yeah, it looks good. It certainly has a style to it. Like,
it's
definitely.
Very, very yeah, it was also shot with a mostly static camera, partly to
He says as they pan.
Well, mostly static. Partly to evoke the idea of comic strip panels, but also to help disguise the nearly 60 matte paintings that were used for backgrounds and such.
Well, the ones we've seen so far are incredible.
That is a lot. And so, look, say what you like about this weird fucking movie. It is weird. This is a weird movie. It looks incredible, as we have established.
Well, it's like Avatar, really, isn't it?
More so than Avatar, because Avatar is impressive from like the computer-generated graphics kind of side
sort
of
of
things.
Getting at it, the only really good thing about Avatar is how it looks, because the plot is just...
Avatar's fine. It's perfectly fine. It's a perfectly serviceable movie.
Maybe we'll discuss it properly one day.
I have fun watching it. It's the most James Cameron of movies, and it's fine. But special effects wise and looks wise, I will always defer to something like Dick Tracy over something like Avatar.
Yeah.
With like the practical effects and the weird makeup, the costumes going on. It just looks Nothing else looks like this movie, you know?
Maybe that's a good thing in places.
Possibly. And I mean, I say that, I mean, it does have a lot of, like, carryover from Batman 89, like, a lot of the matte paintings kind of look Gotham City-esque, but it just uses them more and to better effect, I would say.
No, I think it's been great so far. Like a big pink car, very Penelope pit stop.
Yeah. That is a nice colour, actually.
It's not part of the 7 or the 6.
Yes, it is.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Purple.
Pink isn't purple. Pink is pink.
It's close enough. It was purplish.
Okay.
You know? And I mean, I don't know if you know this, but this is actually real stuff that's being filmed. It's not actually a comic.
Oh, right.
That's being filmed. So
there's like limits to the colours.
So you're limited by like
It
physics and
perfect
reality and such.
Whereas nowadays they just colour it all in on a computer after.
Yeah.
Or they do what they did in.
Can you imagine if they made this these days? It would be so boring. It would be so boring.
Everyone would have a CG face.
Yeah, it would all be just CG faces, and it would just be a really bland, boring origin story. It's another thing that I like about this is that it just doesn't bother with like an origin story. It doesn't even really bother with like motivation for the main character. Because like, what is his motivation? It's just stop the bad guys, and that's about it.
It's all the motivation you need, really, when you're the goodie. Stop the baddies.
Yeah. It's very, very simple comic book stuff.
Sorry, Madonna's pose there when she was sitting made me chuckle. It looked like she was taking a dump.
Okay.
Sorry, bringing the mood down a bit.
Well, speaking of bringing the mood down...
Oh, yeah?
Is that going to be a relevant segue? We'll find out when I read this paragraph. Danny Elfman was brought in to do the score.
I like Danny Elfman, even though everything sounds the same.
Yeah, pretty much. Based on his success with Batman 89.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Best thing he did, Men in Black. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Men in Black theme, that's peak Elfman for me.
I would say so. It's just a little bit different from his usual stuff, but still very obviously Danny Elfman. Yeah, I would agree with that. God, you said something that I've agreed with.
I know, what's
it's
happening?
Amazing.
Well, it's the start of a new series.
It's true, yeah.
Had to happen
so, 5 original songs were written by Stephen Sondheim.
Right.
Which are performed by Madonna, including a duet with Mandy Patinkin, which we just saw there, or saw earlier? I can't remember.
I don't know, we haven't had the sound on.
3 of the songs featured on Madonna's album I'm Breathless.
Really?
And guess what the first single for that album was?
Rubbish?
Well, I mean, depends how you feel about Madonna, really.
Okay.
Vogue.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that was alright then.
It's not in the movie, but it's on the... Yeah.
Got the good ones off the album for the singles.
I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. God, is he called Red Eyes or something?
Probably.
He looked like a blooming... What do they call them? The Remans from Star Trek?
Now, there's James Caan. Show him again. There he is. James Caan.
Okay.
The
faces are just horrific.
Yeah. Yeah, they really are.
And I was going to say earlier, is that guy called... excuse me, is that guy called Flat Top?
He is.
And he actually is called Flat Top.
Yeah, it's actually called Flat Top, yeah. Yeah. Now, there is a bizarre inconsistency in Big Boy Caprice's handling of the Dick Tracy situation. Because at first he's like, don't kill him, because then you'll just bring more heat down on us, or something like that. But then later on, he's getting angry at his henchman for not having killed him. So, I don't think he really knows what he's doing.
That's really not great. You know, specificity is important.
Got a little bit of a quiz here for you. Just a tiny little smattering of a quiz.
Go for it.
This film won 3 Academy Awards. Can you guess which ones?
I don't know, like costume or like makeup.
Best makeup was one of them.
Set design, maybe, or something to do with like.
You're close.
I don't know. Cinematography. Maybe not.
Really? No.
I'm trying to think how you would word it, but like, no, I don't know. No, you tell me. I've got one.
You've given up on the other two completely.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be best director, is it? It's not going to be like best actor.
Well, no.
It's not going to be, like I said, costumes or makeup.
This I don't understand. Why is this toothpaste powder? How does that work?
Tooth powder? That's what we'd use back in the day before toothpaste. You'd like dip it in bicarbonate soda or something. You just brush your teeth with it.
That's weird.
I know.
I mean, I guess
that's apparently a thing. You can still buy it.
Abrasive kind of dissolving stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. No, the 3 Academy Awards it won were Best Makeup, as you say.
Nice.
Best Original Song.
Okay.
And Best Art Direction. So you were pretty close with I was dead on with one and pretty close with
I think when I said like set direction, I sort of meant like the mats and all the integrate, the actual style of imagery of it. I think that would be the award-winning aspect.
I knew
that guy's got a weird nose. Look at that. He had a bum on the tip of his nose.
Yeah, have you not noticed how everybody's
got weird faces?
Everybody's got weird faces. Well, most people have.
Oh, they've got him.
They have got him.
If you know how they're criminals. You can tell they're criminals because their cars don't have license plates on them.
Well, that's kind of a.
Oh no, they do. It was just really dark. I couldn't read it. Sorry.
Oh no, it's not. It's not. I was going to say it's a thing in the States where you only usually have the license plate on the back.
Yeah.
You don't usually have it on the front.
Little kid doing his own stunt there. Did you see that? It was quite impressive.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
Dick? Do you mind if I call you Dick? Yeah, it's my name. Go for it. It's not a problem.
No, you will address me as Richard.
Or Ricardo.
So it's been a while since we've had a Dick Tracy thing, isn't it?
I've never seen a Dick Tracy thing before.
You'd think that the Tribune, the owners of the Dick Tracy property, would be jumping upon the whole comic book superhero bandwagon
Would you?
thing. Well, you would think so. I mean, they've got this. They could have done something with this,
Well, did you not say there were 2 like straight to video?
Well, we'll get on to that.
Okay.
They went and sold the film rights to Warren Beatty for a cool $3 million.
Doesn't sound that cool to me.
So yeah, that's basically how this film got made. Is Warren Beatty just bought the rights to it and was just like, I'm making a Dick Tracy movie and no one can stop me. And he was right. Nobody could stop him.
I do like it when that sort of thing happens. I think there was something. Was it Farscape or something? Or the owners of that, or some of the cast from it now have the rights to it to produce more or something.
Really?
Maybe it's not Farscape. It's something like that. But I do like the idea that people who work on something that are a fan of something then help make it and make it good because they actually have respect for the property.
And I like it when an actor or a director or something gets to a point in their career where they can basically just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And make just their dream project, But yes, that deal turned out to be pretty bad for Tribune.
Really?
Yes, it was a perpetuity deal,
right?
Which isn't uncommon, and it's the reason why we keep getting Fantastic Four movies.
Oh right.
Basically,
they have to keep the rights.
Yeah, it basically means that you have to make something with that property, or you lose the rights to it.
I'm almost a little upset that we're not watching the 90s Fantastic Four movie as part of this.
The 90s one? Like the 94 TV movie?
Yeah.
One?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see that. I've only seen clips of it.
But
apparently, the plot-wise...
really bad.
Yeah, it looks bad, but plot-wise, and apparently it's still way better than the more recent ones in terms of actually being a good film, apparently.
Yeah.
That's... Because the actors didn't know it was never meant to happen. They took it seriously.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, there's a whole story behind that.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem
out of that. That's ridiculous.
The problem with the deal was that for Tribune anyway was that they didn't actually specify what had to be made in order for Beatty to retain the rights. So he just made whatever, and as we've alluded to, there were these quote unquote sequels that aired like once and only once on like Turner Classic Movies.
So is it like Dick Tracy in name only or something? Is it just not
sort
actually
of? Yeah. So the first one was in 2008, and it's an interview between TV movie critic Leonard Maltin,
right?
Probably heard of, and Warren Beatty in character as Dick Tracy.
What?
It's an interview about the life and career of Dick Tracy.
What?
Bizarre, right?
This is like whole...
You can find it on YouTube if you're interested in it. It's a weird, bad, terrible, pointless thing that just got made just so he could keep the rights to it for some reason.
It sounds like George Lucas is making more specials or something.
Yeah, God, it's very, very odd. The second one, which came out in 2023, in fact,
right,
is a fake Zoom call interview between Maltin, Dick Tracy, played by Beatty, and Warren Beatty as himself.
How old is Warren Beatty now?
He's in his 70s, I think.
Jesus.
It's also partly a retrospective of the previous interview, and it's revealed that Beatty and Tracy haven't spoken in years because of a misunderstanding about lunch or something. And the thing ends with Warren Beatty and Dick Tracy going to a restaurant together.
This is just getting weird.
Bizarre.
I'm looking at a man with a skull face and a bum nose and a flat head, and that is weirder somehow.
I encourage everyone to put up with that for as long as you can, because it's very strange. Especially the bit where I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Okay.
Especially the bit where Warren Beatty and Dick Tracy, again, Dick Tracy being played by Warren Beatty, going to lunch at a restaurant with Warren Beatty himself. Just
was it a lot of really obvious
genius.
locked off camera shots?
Well, it's so bad because they're having they're supposed to be having a conversation, but the two of them, it's not like synced up properly, so they're constantly just like talking over each other.
That is awful.
It's so weird and badly done, and just why?
Whoops.
And like in the 2008 one, it's like he shows up at the filming studio, like drives in like one of the cars from this, like this big fancy, like the fancy cars that we've got in this. And
not so much an Oldsmobile, but an Oldmobile.
Yeah, and it's just so very strange.
Madonna wants to get frisked.
Right, well, we got to talk about...
I think that's a pun.
We got to talk about Madonna and Warren Beatty in this movie.
What, the really awkward casting?
Well, in a lot of ways, yes. So, Madonna was dating Warren Beatty during the making of this movie.
That explains a lot.
And they broke up shortly after it was released.
That is understandable.
They met during the making of it, and apparently he proposed to her, and she stalled on the question, so he ended their relationship and claimed the engagement ring was just a quote-unquote friendship ring. Right.
You get nice guy vibes off Beatty.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bit of that.
I don't like it.
He then went on to marry Annette Bening, and they've been together ever since.
Okay.
But I just find it very interesting that the movie is about a man who's involved with a woman who is clearly traumatized and unhealthy, like Breathless Mahoney is clearly not having a good time in her life, who tries to seduce him in increasingly inappropriate ways, and, spoiler, has to die so he can marry the nice lady who works in the greenhouse.
Spoilers.
So...
I wouldn't have thought that Madonna would die in this.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely would have, but...
Obviously, the story was written long before Beatty and Madonna met. But it's interesting, isn't it? It just really makes you think.
Yeah. He's got lipstick on him and she's just not happy. That's so funny. He's got a face. He did an expression.
Yeah.
And he's lost it. It's gone.
Yeah. He
did the data head movement.
He went from gormless bored to gormless surprised.
He keeps moving his head like Data. He's trying to process his emotions. Processing.
Yeah, his emotion chip is shaken loose.
Yeah.
It was when that building exploded around him. It must have...
Oh no, he jumped out. He just had shrapnel over him.
Well, the shockwave would have...
Yeah, would have ruined him.
Would have turned his insides to jelly.
Yeah.
But yeah, he could have probably handled that situation a bit better. Could have been just like, I did not invite this person here. This woman has shown up. She's broken into our apartment. I don't want her to be here. This is definitely not what it looks like.
Yeah,
poor Tess.
What is it about people in films? And I mean, obviously, it's it's fiction and it's nonsense. It's all for the drama. But what is it with people just not saying? By the way, I can explain this really easily.
Oh yeah,
explaining it in one sentence. And
yeah.
then like, oh shit, that looks totally different. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, but
there are so many. I mean, it kind of works in this because
it's a
Dick Tracy and Tess Trueheart, they kind of have an awkward kind of relationship anyway.
Well, they won't they?
So there's definitely a lack of communication in that relationship. But yeah, it's a very common and very silly trope in movies and such where, as you say, a problem could be solved with it. Like, look at Batman versus Superman, for example. That entire conflict could have been resolved with just a few lines of dialogue.
Yeah.
You know?
Not just like Superman being cocky and thinking everything's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. If the two of them just weren't, they had to have a fight because that was the point of the movie, but nothing else in the movie really made that fight meaningful, and they could have just avoided it by Superman just going to Batman and being like, oh, Lex Luthor's kidnapped my mum. I don't want to fight you. You're quite good at this whole superhero thing. Do you think you can maybe help out a little bit here?
He wouldn't have even needed to do that much. He could have just flown away and dodged every attack at borderline light speed, but he doesn't because he was like, oh, it's fine, he can't hurt me, and then gets gassed.
Yeah, twice.
The second time is inexcusable.
Like the first time, fair enough, but the second time...
First time you accept the cockiness. You're like, okay, fair enough. You just thought it was going to be a grenade and it was going to bounce off.
Yeah.
Do the whole Superman Returns bullet off the eye thing. You thought you were going to be cool.
But the second time,
it's not only for no reason.
Yeah, not only does he let himself get hit, but he waits and watches Batman reload his fucking grenade launcher, and he could have just stopped that from happening.
He could have just sneezed and blown it out of the way.
It's a stupid movie.
Yeah.
This isn't a stupid movie though.
Well, I mean, technically it is, but it's entertaining.
No, I wouldn't say so.
It's daft, that's for
plot wise, it holds together very well, and I mean the character motivations are a bit all over the place. But I mean, all the characters apart from Dick Tracy, because they all actually have motivations, sort of. He's packing heat.
He's taking off his coat. Put your coat back on. You don't look like Dick Tracy without the coat.
Sometimes he just wears the hat.
He's got it over his arm, that'll do. I really am going to have to rewatch this with the audio. I want to hear all the Danny Elfman stuff.
I told you should give it a go beforehand because it's really strange, and this is probably not the best way to watch it on your first viewing. You know?
Well, yeah, possibly. Maybe I'll watch the other ones beforehand in advance.
Well, yeah, you could do. I mean, the other ones are less interesting looking than this, I would say. Of all the films that we're going to cover in this season, I think this one is the most interesting, at least just to look at.
Whenever she says, I always get my man, I think of the Mighty Boosh.
Well, that's depressing. You don't want to think about the Mighty Boosh more than you actually have to.
First season was fun.
Nah. I was never a big fan.
No.
It's that guy, what's his name? He was on Nevermind the Buzzcocks and stuff. Noel Fielding, yeah, don't really vibe with him.
Got that kind of looks like Matt Smith. With the face.
I cannot tell who that's more of an insult to.
I know, exactly. Well, Matt Smith in The Greatest Morby That Ever Morbed.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. See, this is very Robin and the Seven Hoods. I don't know if you've ever seen or heard of that.
It is.
So, like a Rat Pack movie from back in the day, like a very loose adaptation of Robin Hood, and in that there's like casinos that get hidden by like things folding into walls and stuff like that.
It's reminded me of a children's TV show from BBC in the 90s that did something similar, and they were all like spies, and then when all the teachers went out of the room, they push a button and all the rooms would open up, and they do all kind of crazy stuff, and they'd hide away.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
I can't remember what it was called, but we got a little vibe of that. I just want to see another expression from Warren Beatty.
Yeah.
Just one more. If you could do 3 in one film, I'd be really impressed.
Yeah. How many has he done so far? 2, I reckon.
I reckon 2. And one of them, well, 2.5 if we count the data head tilt thing.
I feel like that was part of a ball of expression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll call that one on its own.
Yeah.
Absolutely mad, this movie.
It's... Yeah, we suspect something. Because they're being very sneaky and clever, you see.
I was going to say that looked like a fake stash.
Yeah. This kid is always clinging to the back of things.
I know, he's a right little adrenaline junkie, isn't he?
He's got spirit, shall we say.
Yes. This isn't as good without the audio.
Get my man. See, I can basically do. I can do Madonna. I mean,
clarify that sentence.
Poorly phrased. That
you can sing.
I can sing as well as Madonna can sing.
Well, try that again.
No.
Okay.
Let's move on, shall we?
Moving on.
Look at that waistcoat. Also, wearing a hat indoors.
That's it.
I mean, it's kind of the era for that, I suppose, isn't it? No, it wasn't Elton John.
It looked a bit like Elton John.
I thought he was just hiding behind a rack of meat.
Yeah, look.
It looks a bit like him, I suppose, yeah. He's on a tear of justice across the city.
So many faces. The prosthetics of this.
Yeah.
There's like 100 different faces that somebody had to make. No wonder they won an award.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No wonder he stuck with the makeup artist after that. It's pretty impressive work.
It certainly is.
Certainly. One punch just took out like 10 guys.
Yep.
This is a superhero movie.
Yeah. Comic book movie.
Okay.
He is in no way a superhero.
He just knocked out 10 guys in one punch.
Yeah, but you can do that in...
That's like telekinetic
in
stuff.
comic books, you know?
Maybe
it's more like he punched like the first rank of people and then they fell back. You know, it's a chain reaction kind of thing, you know?
Silly me.
He's not got any money in his little suitcase.
He had one note. Yeah, stole it.
That was probably an IOU.
Yeah, probably.
Oh no, not a cockroach.
We're getting the Men in Black crossover now. Yep.
Uh-oh. I mean, you could have done something to staunch that, you know?
Yeah. That face. How do the actors take it seriously? They'd just be corpsing all the time. Like...
Yeah, I would really love to see like
outtakes.
a gag reel or outtakes from this. But yeah, it is very impressive, the performances, because like you say, they're giving pretty earnest performances in just the most ridiculous costumes and makeup and settings imaginable, you know?
It's like the touch of cloth Charlie Brooker thing, where he instructed everyone, yes, the dialogue is ridiculous, but play it like it's the most serious drama ever, and it'll work, and it did. We're being bugged.
Yeah, they've been bugged. Do you not see that whole bit where they bugged the place?
Yeah, but I thought you were talking about a cockroach. Oh yeah, criticise the guys cooking for you. That's a nice idea.
That's just a typical man thing to do, isn't it? You know, you're sitting there in awkward silence because you refuse to communicate properly with your girlfriend, and the only way you can think to alleviate that tension is to insult somebody's hard work. Fuck you, Dick Tracy. You would probably listen to Jordan Peterson podcasts. That's a bit harsh, actually, but you know, he does give off that sort of vibe, though, doesn't he?
Maybe he's a John Cleese fan.
Ugh. Don't like John Cleese. He's a dick.
Go get him, Tiger.
Yeah.
I'm getting go get him, Tiger vibes.
Something going on at the Southside warehouse. You gotta get there quick, Tracy.
Sounds big. Yeah, it's a warehouse.
Yeah. He's so conflicted between his guile and his calling, you know?
I wonder how often he has to recharge his little two-way radio watch. Because back in those days, the batteries can't be that good. Maybe he's got a wire running to like a lead-acid backpack or something.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Or maybe he's just like really ahead of his time. He's got one of those like motion charging things because he's running about a lot. So.
Well, maybe that's it. Yeah, it's perpetual radio watch.
Yeah.
Back at the warehouse again.
Oh.
More people getting concreted. Oh, it's Elton John. Doesn't look as much like him without the glasses, I have to say.
No. It's the.
I think the glasses made it.
It's the very sort of bright orangey yellow wig that's kind of putting me off. Now watch this. Dick Tracy's going to do something very clever here. He's a tricky guy.
That does not look fun. Oh, I know what he's done already.
Yeah.
He's using his hat and coat as a decoy.
See, we clocked that immediately. You'd think those gangsters...
You'd think after they've shot that many times, they'd clock it as well. Like...
Why
is he covered in it?
Why does it...
What?
So he rescues his friend from the concrete thing, and then he just puts himself in it.
Is that literally a faceless man?
That is yeah. So literally a faceless man.
Who's he called? Mr. Faceless?
No face, I think.
Isn't that Studio Ghibli?
I don't know.
No face.
See, like earlier on, he was like, "Don't kill Dick Tracy because it'll be bad for business." And then he tries to kill him, and now he's shouting at his people for not killing him when he told them not to.
He's a stereotypical mercurial mob boss. Let him be.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
I have to say, I do like the Dick Tracy font on the door.
Yeah,
it's proper like
very Art Deco.
Yeah. A man with no face. Yeah. How did he shoot you? I don't know. He hasn't even got eyes, and he had a perfect shot. It was staggering.
Yeah.
How does he breathe? I don't know.
I want that hat. That yellow hat. I want that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm sure you could get one.
I want that hat as well.
That red one looks a bit Spider-Man-y. I quite like it.
Yeah.
So weird, kids cutting about in suits back in the day.
Yeah.
Almost another expression there.
Is that? Are we up to
I think
3?
we're up to 3. Are we smiling? A little hint of a micro smile. Oh, no, maybe not.
No, I think that
was just a grimace.
Concern, I think. Because there's a
Coffee
whole
withdrawal.
There's a whole, well, yeah, it could be that. There's a whole subplot going on here about how like child services are coming to take the kid away because he's an orphan and such.
Is he going to adopt him by the end of this?
Guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guessed right.
You did. I mean, it's a pretty safe bet.
Rides high after rescue. Arrested for drug driving. Or drug riding, I suppose.
Oh, here we go. Here's the duet.
Oh yeah, she was just practicing before when she was sitting like she was having a dump. Just a practice pose.
She was just sitting comfortably. What the hell is wrong with you?
It was that she was sitting with her legs really wide apart and sort of leaning forward, like she's sort of straining a bit. It was very much like a I'm trying to take a dump thing.
I think probably you're the only person who would see a person sitting that
Tracy
way.
closes in on Big Boy. These headlines are not great.
Yeah, taken out of context.
I know,
that's a bit weird, isn't it?
That guy's got quite a weird, creepy, longing look in his face as well.
Yeah, he's a bit of an oddball, that one. I mean, they're all oddballs, aren't they? Just a lot of oddballs.
DA won't prosecute Big Boy. Let's see if we get any more cracking headlines.
Alright, well, these two are
Great map painting again.
having an interaction again, aren't they?
Is he going to do his fourth face? Is she randomly shot by No Face or something?
We'll see. We'll see.
I mean, I'm expecting No Face to crop up at least one more time to kill someone.
You think?
Yeah, definitely.
Blah, blah, blah. Let's do some interesting or not interesting, shall we?
Let's.
It's interesting or not interesting.
Hey!
The favouriteest segment in the world where I take 10 bits of IMDb trivia and I go through them and I have arbitrarily decided whether or not they're interesting or not interesting, and you have to guess. And there are probably points to be won, but nobody's actually keeping score or cares. So let's go.
Let's begin.
Number one. Producers lobbied for former President Ronald Reagan to play the role of Pruneface, but this was nixed by Warren Beatty. Is that interesting or not interesting?
Not interesting.
Interesting, I would say. Ding!
Why?
Because fuck that guy.
Okay.
Any insult to Ronald Reagan is fine by me.
I mean, yeah, but I mean...
Also, it makes sense because Warren Beatty is quite a staunch Democrat, I think. Not that actually really means anything, but anyway. Trivia bit number 2. Sean Young was originally cast as Tess Trueheart.
Okay.
But was fired after a few days of filming by Warren Beatty. Sean Young...
There seems to be a bit of a pattern. Warren Beatty doesn't like
Well, afterwards, Young publicly accused Beatty of firing her because she, quote, wouldn't sleep with him. Though Deborah Ruff, Charlie Cosmo's...
Try that again.
Deborah Ruff, Charlie Cosmo, the kid's mother, later disputed this, saying, quote, the rumour was that she had become too demanding and they just decided not to put up with it. So who do we believe?
I mean, I'd rather believe the demanding thing than Warren Beatty is trying to go after her and Madonna at the same time.
Well, quite. Beatty issued a statement saying, quote, I made a mistake casting her in the part and I felt very badly about it.
Whoops!
Is that interesting or not interesting, though?
It's one of those, yes.
But which?
Yes.
You play the game, come on.
Not interesting.
I would say that is interesting, ding,
Okay.
because it's drama, and I love it. Also, Sean Young, do you know who Sean Young is? Yes. The lady replicant from Blade Runner.
Okay. Were there two people with stereotypically masculine names playing or being cast as Tess? Who was the actual person? I feel like there's two people that had like Sean. I've not known many women called Sean.
Yeah, it's not all that common. What was
Who actually
Glenn Headley?
Yeah.
Or I'm probably not pronouncing any of that correctly, but
yeah.
There you go.
Glenn and Sean playing Tess.
Indeed.
Fantastic
Well, no, just
stuff.
one of them.
Well,
anyway, trivia bit number 3. Go
for it.
As a fan of the comic strip, Warren Beatty wanted to put in as many characters from the comics into the film as he could. This was a measure used by Beatty in case the film didn't have a sequel. Is that interesting or not interesting?
Interesting.
I'd say not interesting.
I'm rubbish at this.
Stop fucking around with these weird TV special things and just make another Dick Tracy movie. Just let it happen. Come on.
It's never going to happen.
It doesn't necessarily have to be like a direct sequel to this. It could be a whole new thing. Just give me more Dick Tracy because it's a fun, weird world and I love it a lot. Okay?
Noted.
Trivia bit number 4.
Go ahead.
Dustin Hoffman plays Mumbles as a favour for Warren Beatty. Is that interesting or not interesting?
Yes. It is maybe interesting.
Can you be a little more committed to your response?
It's absolutely really interesting. I'm fascinated.
It's not interesting,
okay,
actually.
I've had 100% fail rate here.
It's just Hollywood, baby. That's just how it works. It's just people doing favours for the pals, you know?
I'm really glad we're not keeping score.
Trivia bit number 5. This film holds the record for most Oscar wins for a newspaper strip-based film with 3 wins. Is that interesting or not interesting?
I mean, it's interesting that someone would even try and quantify that as a fact, because I mean, how many films based on comic strips have even won 1 or 2 awards? Like, you know, it's like...
Yeah, I would say interesting.
Interesting that they've chosen to do that, yeah.
Well, a weirdly specific list. I want to see that list, because I rather suspect that Dick Tracy is the only entry on that list.
Very possibly. What's the next bit then? I've got 1 point.
Oh,
is something happening?
Something happening. Lots of things are happening.
Well, yes.
Tess... I think Tess has been kidnapped at this point. This woman's coming to take the child away. It's just that it's all kicking off. Plot lines are converging on each other here, like it's some kind of story that is reaching some kind of a conclusion, possibly, maybe.
I do like a lot of the shots that I've seen here when they have the person in the foreground and the background properly in focus. It's obviously like 2 shots that's placed together.
Yeah.
It always looked really
Split
good.
diopter.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
I need to get your film lingo down.
Yeah, they do a lot of that in this. To great effect. Because it is shot very simply, but also very effectively.
Is he being drugged right now?
Yeah, there's gas. See? The plants are farting on him, and it's like, ugh.
How has he not realised?
Well, he has.
Okay.
He's falling over, you see?
Just
I mean, personally, as soon as I started seeing double, I would probably have just left.
Why am I getting Lee from Utopia vibe? It's just gas is all. You've got to sleep.
It's just gas.
It's just gas.
Right, trivia bit number 6. Are you ready? Are you ready for this one?
I was born ready.
Okay. Dick Tracy was previously the subject of an unaired television pilot, Dick Tracy 1967.
Right. Inspired
by the success of producer William Dozier's hit Batman 1966. Is that his name? William Dozier? I think that's how you pronounce that.
Where is it?
Dozier?
Yeah, or Dozier. Maybe he's very sleepy.
Something like that. So just as this film piggybacked on the success of Batman 1989.
Fun stuff.
Ironically...
Is that Alfred from Batman there?
Good question.
It looks a bit like Alfred from Batman.
I don't think it is. I would have picked up on that. It might be.
Oh, they're about to frame him for something awful.
The murder of the DA, no less.
Oof. That's not going to go down well.
Anyway, where was I? Ironically, Bob Kane
No, it's not.
cited Dick Tracy comic strips as a huge influence in the initial creation of Batman as a comic character. Now, is that all interesting or is that not interesting?
I mean, it's a little bit interesting, but then at the same time, Batman was just a detective story, so it was it specifically Dick Tracy that they focused it on, or?
Bob Kane cited the Dick Tracy comic strip as a huge influence.
Well, then, yeah,
in his
it's interesting.
initial
Then it
creation.
is interesting. I would never have thought that.
I would say interesting, yes. Ding.
I'm getting better.
Have you seen Bob Kane's initial creation of Batman? His initial.
I don't think I have. No.
It is laughable.
Really?
It's just some fucking blonde dude in a domino mask with a big stiff pair of wings stuck on his back.
Seriously?
Like a glider. Because, of course, it is Bill Finger we have to thank for creating Batman as we know it. Because he looked at what Bob Kane had done and was like, that is awful. Let's do this good thing instead. But then, obviously, Bob Kane just stole all the credit for it, and that's why, up until recently, anytime there's a Batman thing, it's always based on Batman created by Bob Kane, and Bill Finger doesn't get a look in, because that's how the comic book industry works.
I wonder if it's that he created the character but didn't design the character. Because
Bill Finger did all... Bill Finger essentially created Batman as we know it.
Okay.
Bob Kane came up with the idea of just the general vague idea of a crime-fighting guy called Batman, but Bill Finger is the one that took that idea and turned it into something.
So it should be Batman created by Bill Finger based on an idea by Bob Kane.
Yeah, that would be more accurate. Yeah.
Okay. Oh look, we're getting into some more high-concept cinematography with a really spinny.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know what. Is it a newspaper that's still not fading in?
No, it's Dick Tracy lying on his prison bed, spinning around for some reason.
We've got to have a montage to show the passage of time.
Gotta have a montage.
Montage! Yeah,
they're all happy as Larry, you know? Swimming in bucks. Look, they've even got money coming out of their hats, sort of.
That's not real money.
I don't think any of it's real money.
Well, it's real movie money.
God, they're just terrifying the fuck out of old people sitting in primary coloured rooms. You know? That's a lot of bread.
He's doing his Scarface.
That's a lot of cheese.
I just want him to bend over and sniff all the money now.
That's rude.
I was doing a Scarface bit.
And he's in... I know. I don't like Scarface. I don't think it's a good movie.
I mean...
It's very long.
I haven't seen it in a while.
It's just one of those movies that's just about a bad person doing bad shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't care about this at all.
It's no Always Sunny, that's for sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's different because that is about bad people doing bad things, but... They always get their comeuppance, is the thing. And I think he gets his comeuppance in Scarface, because doesn't he get shot to pieces? Yeah. But, I mean, that's not enough.
He goes out in a coke-filled...
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of framed as him being like a heroic last stand kind of thing, when he's a maniac and a horrible guy. Hot take, Scarface.
He's a horrible guy.
Not a good person. Anyway, are you ready for trivia bit number 7?
I'm ready. Go for it.
This is a long one.
Yeah.
Just to warn you. In the film, the one that we're watching,
Dick Tracy from
it is not explained why Dick Tracy is so obsessed with getting Big Boy Caprice outside of the obvious cop versus criminal trope.
He wants his big boy.
Indeed. So to speak. In the debut comic strip of Dick Tracy in October 1931, so it's 30s, not 20s, as I think I said before, Tracy is a young college graduate looking to become an attorney. Tess Trueheart is his college sweetheart. One night, they go to have dinner with Tess's parents to announce their engagement at their home above Mr. Trueheart's store.
Right.
Are you keeping up with this?
I'm trying.
The evening is interrupted by hoodlums. Hoodlums, no less.
Crikey.
Sorry for spraying it instead of saying it. But I mean hoodlums. Who rob the store.
They don't.
They kill Mr. Trueheart and kidnap Tess in their getaway.
I mean, I'm stunned.
Have you ever heard anything more hoodlum-esque?
No.
In melodramatic fashion, Tracy swears to bring the killers to justice and joins the police force in order to help track down thieves and rescue Tess. Because that seems like the efficient way to do things.
Yeah.
You know, just go through all the months of
the years
training
of
and you know.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
I would have probably just become
Phone the
Batman.
police. Or just phone the police and get them to sort it.
Well, yeah. He succeeds in saving her by killing the thugs. Well, that's very police, isn't it? Just
murder
kill
them,
everyone.
yeah.
He eventually learns that the thugs worked for Big Boy Caprice and vows to bring him down in order to fulfill his promise to bring the man responsible for Mr. Trueheart's death to justice. Big Boy would be Tracy's adversary off and on from the 30s to the 70s when Big Boy suffers a heart attack after a failed attempt to put out a contract to kill Tracy. Is any of that interesting, or is that not interesting?
Not interesting.
Correct!
To be honest, I barely even paid attention to half of it.
I know we're not showing much motivation for Tracy in the movie, and it makes him
it's a comic film.
Makes him somewhat boring, but I don't think he needs.
He's doing it in the face. He's got a weird cocky smile on his face. Very pretty.
Have we had our?
Yeah,
there we go.
face.
Fourth expression. There we go. Yeah, he's just a means to explore the other far more interesting characters, and that's fine. I'd rather have this movie as it is, where we're just placed into the middle of things with this guy just doing his job, than some tedious, dragged out, pointless origin story.
How people they made films back in the day. They had more respect for the viewer, where they'd say, "You'll figure it out." Not like, "Let me spell everything out step by step for you." Just watch the film and enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
We need more of that.
We do.
More of that.
We do.
Oh god, the sun's getting in my eyes now. I've got to lean.
Bloody sunlight.
I know. Dazzling. That's an interesting hat he's got on there. Looks like it's made out of cardboard.
But yeah, it's like a fake party hat thing.
That makes sense. Just tuned in like a little not quite processing.
I think this is like a New Year's party or something.
Judging by the New Year hat, I expect it probably is.
Yeah, bit of a giveaway that. Green bowler hat. You never see a green bowler hat, do you?
You don't see bowler hats. When was the last time you saw somebody in the street wearing a bowler hat?
1937.
You saw that,
I did, yeah. I hopped back
You've
in
aged
time.
very well. Oh, okay, it was time travel.
It was time travel,
okay.
Yes. I am functionally immortal, but I can also time travel. So,
you jammy bastard.
Yeah, I've got it all, really.
I mean, any chance we can have a go on the mid-time machine, or is it?
No, well, it's not so much a time machine as I sort of project myself into various...
Oh, Hiro Nakamura?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Like?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
You can't take other people with you? Or...
Not really.
Actually,
I mean, I tried to
it's
once.
It's less Hiro Nakamura, and it's more the X-Men film with Wolverine, isn't it? Where you project.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Kind of like that.
You need to, So you're your own Kitty Pryde in that film?
Yes.
God, great.
I'm both Kitty Pryde and Wolverine.
At the same time?
Okay, this whole thing's kind of...
Skip to it, right. Let's
rapidly falling apart here. Whoa! Shooting guns? That's dangerous. Somebody's going to get shot. They'll have someone's eye out. Shooting the glass as well. You get little bits of glass flying around.
Oh, he's jumping right through it. He doesn't care. He would have broken both his legs there, but he somehow did some parkour landing and rolled.
Yeah.
Dropping straight down.
Yeah.
No.
Makes sense to me.
I mean,
he obviously...
It's a comic, we'll allow it.
He could obviously do the curly muffin thing of being able to move in midair. Do you know about that?
The curly muffin?
Curly muffin, that's what they call it when a video game character can move in midair after jumping. That's called the curly muffin.
Well, now I know. And knowing is half the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's G.I. Joe, isn't it?
Yes.
Anyway, next.
What are we up to? Number 8?
8, yeah.
Where?
Go for it.
The first of a handful of films released with the Cinema Digital Sound, CDS, soundtrack for those movie theatres who had installed
Not
decoders.
interesting. I don't even need you to finish. It's not interesting.
Shh.
Carry on.
This was the first truly digitally encoded format, which came on a series of separate CD-ROMs to be played by a multi-CD drive linked to a computer. This elaborate system was in use until 1992 and then abandoned due to reliability issues. Is that interesting or not interesting?
It's not interesting, I just told you that.
Correct. Who cares? Not interesting. Fuck off.
Not finished yet, we've got to wait for the end.
I mean, fuck off to that fact.
I got that actually. Let's move on to fact number 9.
Shall we?
Let's.
Number 9, here we go.
It's go time.
At one stage in the film's development, Steven Spielberg was offered the director's chair.
Really?
Yeah.
Just the chair?
Is that interesting or not interesting?
What, was he offered the chair?
Is it interesting or not interesting?
I need to answer this with a little caveat.
Okay.
It would be interesting if what you're saying is Warren Beatty said, "Hey, do you want my chair with my name on it?" Or do you mean he was asked to direct it?
It's interesting, ding, because he wasn't offered the director job, he was just offered the chair as a souvenir.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
So I was right. It's interesting if he was offered the chair.
That's not true, actually. He was actually offered the job.
Oh. Well, then it was not interesting.
Well, it is interesting, because I made the joke, you see. Or you made the joke. Well, I made the joke first, because I wrote it down.
But I came up with
But
it. Well, great minds.
Well, yeah.
I'm sorry to have ruined your punchline.
You fucker. Anyway, let's round this segment out with trivia bit number 10.
Nice round number. Go.
The comic strip gave birth to a radio series in the 1930s and a series of films in the 1940s, the popularity of which led to a large range of merchandise.
Merchandising.
The first
Cha-ching.
was badges bearing Tracy's square jaw, followed by dolls, games, toy guns, two-way wrist radios, and books.
That's quite the...
Is that interesting or not interesting is the question before
You're asking me whether it's interesting that an IP was marketed to make money.
Yeah.
No.
Well, you're wrong. That is interesting. Ding!
That's how they do things.
It seems like a pretty marketable concept, really, doesn't it?
I mean...
Shame the rights are stuck where they are. Although these days... How marketable is a franchise about a cop from the 30s?
Well, if they made it now...
I'm not sure about that.
If they made it now, they'd set it in the future, in the 2030s, and have him, with a holographic wristwatch firing laser guns.
Oh, like the Sherlock Holmes cartoon, where it's Sherlock Holmes in the future, and Watson's a big robot man.
I have no idea
Check that
existed,
out.
But
It's wild.
That's upsetting.
It's wild. But yeah, I reckon you could bring this back. I reckon you could build a pretty convincing cinematic universe, Avengers style, out of the movies that we're watching in this series. I reckon. Not just out of this.
Oh, so you're talking about doing like a comic universe, like the Dark Universe?
Yeah, well, like an MCU style thing.
So more generic and more widespread.
Yeah, because most of the movies are set sort of in and around the 30s and 40s, kind of.
They kind of are actually, aren't they?
The Mask of Zorro's a bit earlier.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like late 1800s, I think.
Really?
But I mean, it's not so far off that you couldn't fold it in somehow, you know.
I'm really looking forward to rewatching The Mask of Zorro, by the way.
In fact, he has a kid in the sequel to The Mask of Zorro. He has a kid, and then that kid could grow up to be the Zorro in this cinematic universe that doesn't exist except in my
I
head.
think you need to start pitching it.
I don't think I'm going to do that because that's a lot of work and nobody is going to want me.
How many of these things are in public domain now?
Good question.
Dick Tracy must be approaching it.
Well, no, because Warren Beatty's got the rights to it.
Oh, but I thought anything but it's like Mickey Mouse. Like they had the rights to that, and it's just come out of or the
Steamboat Willie, yeah.
So I'm thinking the first iteration might have come out, and then someone can base something off that. If it's like 10 years.
No, I don't think it's going to work like that because Warren Beatty just owns the rights to Dick Tracy, all of it.
But I think that's what I'm saying. You don't get to do that because anything you create only has like 70, 80 years of copyright before you.
Well, that's what the perpetuity deal is. You keep the rights as long as you keep making a thing every so often.
Okay.
That's why
Disney missed a trick then with Steamboat Willie.
Yeah, well, I think they just decided they didn't care because they've got another 100 years of history with the character. So why not just give the public
the rubbish one?
The rubbish nothing one from.
I mean, it was good for the time.
Yeah, was it?
Well, yeah, it was revolutionary at the time.
Was it?
Yeah.
It's just a cartoon.
Yeah, but they didn't really have cartoons like that back in the day.
Fair enough.
I think it was the first one properly integrating sound and story and all that kind of thing. I think it was actually a big deal. I might be wrong. I might be talking out my ass.
Wouldn't be the first time.
It's been known to happen.
I've reached the end of my notes. We just have to get to the end of the film now. It's nearly finished, I think. We're rapidly approaching the final confrontation.
Oh, that was a bit of janky green screening there, wasn't it?
Was a bit, yeah.
He's climbing up denouement heights.
It's Big Boy has kidnapped Tess. Could just let her go and would probably be fine, but he's not the smartest guy.
I know we've been distracting ourselves with the interesting or not interesting, but have we had No Face come back to kill someone yet, or is he about to do that?
You'll see.
So he's about to come and shoot.
You'll see. I don't want to spoil this grand finale.
It certainly looks grand. Oh gosh, that's the first proper. Well, those two shots there, they're green screen, really janky.
Yeah.
Well, the composition or the composite.
Look at that.
That's a bit weird as well. Like.
Some of it is not great, but I think the fact that
he's running like Phoebe Buffay.
It's. I think it does quite a good job of papering over the cracks and hiding the seams most of the time.
I mean, those are the only real shots that jumped out at me. Oh, I like the big
cogs.
Wooden cogs or whatever they're made of. They're very proppy cogs, aren't they? They're actually...
A woman.
Thinking about those
humiliated
cogs, how is it that they look better than the cogs in The Amazing Spider-Man?
Because they're actually physical things that are actually there.
Yeah, right, that's it.
That actually reflect light and cast shadow like real objects and such and so forth.
It's funny how real objects look good on camera, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird how it's a lot easier
to just put something in front of a camera.
Well, I say that. I mean, you have to actually build the big cogs. I suppose that takes a lot of work.
I mean, I think that's basically the reason everything's so CG now, is because technically it's cheaper than building it. That's so upsetting.
Well, it is, because most studios
Sorry,
don't...
his run and jump there was ridiculous.
A little twirl there. That
little old man jumping.
But yeah, it's cheaper to use CG because you just don't pay the CG artists.
Christ, yeah.
You know, that's how you operate if you're a big studio.
Yeah, and then you have wonderful results like the train line fight sequence in Black Panther.
Yeah, that was
awful.
Great. Most of the CG in that movie was pretty ropey. Not as bad as the end of the Flash 2023 movie.
Oh my god, all the janky
horrible monstrosities appearing out of big CGI
Having
balls.
said that,
there's a lot of balls at the end of that movie.
But the peak of that sequence was Nick Cage Superman.
It's just so
I've been wanting to see that.
Pandering nonsense.
That's the one thing I wish they'd actually done in the Burton Batman style.
Yeah, that would have been
brilliant.
That would have been fun and fine and cool. I'm sure, probably would have been something, but it was just so unnecessary, and it just showed that they just had no faith in the movie itself. Because it's like, well, let's just wow everybody with these mostly quite problematic cameos. Like fucking George Reeve? Really? You're putting him in it?
What was he?
He played Superman in the 30s, but it was like a really tragic thing because he got typecast as Superman, couldn't find any other work, and I think basically drank himself to death because of it. Jesus. And there he is, plastered on screen as a CGI monstrosity.
Well, didn't they have a plastic Christopher Reeve as well?
Yeah. That was pretty objectionable too.
Yeah.
They had Supergirl in it as well, but at least she's still alive and can give consent.
Was it Alicia Silverstone that played Supergirl? Who was that in that? I can't remember.
The Supergirl movie was from like 1973 or something.
Oh yeah, who am I thinking now?
Alicia Silverstone, I don't think would have been
it was
born.
80s. I don't know who it was. I don't know. I'm thinking that got away.
Alicia Silverstone was in Batman and Robin.
That's maybe my confusion.
I can't remember who it was that played Supergirl in that weird, awful Supergirl movie. But yeah, at least I think she's still alive and can give consent to having her face CGI'd horribly and put in a movie for no reason. And it's just like, what's the point in having that Christopher Reeve cameo? He just stands there. He doesn't do anything. He just stands there and looks sort of concerned about this CGI end of the world thing that's happening.
At least Nick Cage gets to use his heat vision.
Oh, who gives a monkeys? Anyway, this movie's happening. Look, it's
No Face. He's coming back to shoot the people. I called it.
You did.
Well, we had.
It's almost like you've seen a movie before.
Well, it's not so much Chekhov's gun as No Face's gun, isn't it?
Chekhov's No Face?
That we'll go with that. He's lost all expression again. Come on, BT, do a face.
you can do it.
Emote.
You're literally acting next to somebody who has no face at all,
and
they are emoting. Whoa, you got him, kid.
Didn't see him coming.
Oh, he
does have eyes. We caught a little glimpse.
I think he's got little nose holes for breathing.
The actor.
Well, you'll see. All is about to be revealed.
Oh, is it a mask?
It's the conclusion of the movie. Everything's...
Is Madonna No Face?
You'll see. Hey, Tracy, look. This guy's still alive.
Don't call me Tracy. Call me Dick. Sounds bad, doesn't it?
It does.
So who's under the mask? Let's do the Scooby-Doo reveal.
Oh, would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for this damn meddling kid.
It's totally Madonna, right?
You think?
Yeah. And I'm right.
You reckon? You think that's Madonna? What if it's another mask under the first mask?
Is it a mask?
No.
No, I didn't think so. It would make much more sense for it to be Madonna.
It would.
He's pretty shocked. Still more expressive than Warren Beatty.
Yeah.
You're just watching someone die and you still can't make a face.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't care. Oh, that's the thing. He doesn't care.
Yeah, that's true. You're my only mistake.
Oh, I think there were a lot of other mistakes.
Yeah, I think the murders weren't great.
Yeah, I don't know how she got involved in this whole thing. I think she was just like a performer, and then just got lips manless, kind of.
Maybe it
took advantage of her, and then she was just kind of locked into this life from that point on.
I think it's like the Doctor Who Curse of the Fatal Death, where I'll explain later.
Yeah.
It's the solution.
Yeah.
How did this happen? I'll explain later.
Well, they don't explain it at all, really. It doesn't really need explained.
Well,
she's dead now.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
And he's still not expressing any emotions.
He really isn't. What is wrong
whatsoever.
with him? You know you're acting in this. Well, I suppose maybe the director, him, didn't tell him to act more.
Well, that's
it. He can't direct himself. It's like, oh, my face looks great when I do that same face in every scene. That bridge is a lot steeper than it was a minute ago.
Well, yeah, because it was lifting up before.
I thought it was stationary before.
No,
When
you
they
fool.
stopped, it wasn't moving when they stopped at the top. And they were like, I can't jump it. It was completely stationary.
Look, there's some bad green screening. Have a rant about that. Shut up about the bridge. Actually, it's not that bad. It's fine.
I mean,
it's about as good as you can get with hair flapping around.
It's at a different angle now, and the thing's still going under it. I'm getting continuity errors with this bridge here.
It was getting raised up. Have you seen how slowly those things rise up?
Yes.
Very, very slowly.
Fireworks.
Yeah.
And it ends. And he's going to adopt the little boy. And they'll all live happily ever after. And hopefully he'll stop insulting that man's cooking.
He's never going to stop insulting that man's cooking. That's the basis of their entire friendship. Tracy and chili cook guy.
Has he got a match?
Oh, he smiled! He smiled!
He did! Oh, you absolute prick, Tracy. Stop criticising his food.
He's
if you don't
just
like
having
it, don't
a
go in
little
there.
joke.
No, I think it's like hiding in plain sight sort of thing where he actually doesn't like it. And he's well,
he's eating it, isn't he?
Yeah, well,
he could just not go to this place if he doesn't like it.
Maybe it's a free meal. Maybe she's paying and he doesn't want
Well, I mean, he is the sort of person that would not pay for his meals. He's always just running away, you know? I think he probably probably gets the guys down at the station. He tells them that he's going to lunch with Tess, and he's like, "Can you ring in a fake emergency in like 20 minutes, and then I could just run away and not have to pay." Or he probably gets it all for free anyway because he's a cop.
Yeah, free donuts and coffee and hot dogs. That's what they live on, isn't it?
Chili, apparently.
It's like, please get out of
He's actually straining very hard to actually communicate something to this poor woman.
Did he just do a little weird face thing?
Maybe. There's been a lot of weird face things happening in this film.
It's better than it looks so gorgeous. I can't get over it. He just looks like he's stoned.
See, there we go.
Drunk.
Saved by the Bell. Colin Dick Tracy. Robbery in process.
Diggity dog. You should not be going out trying to solve crimes, little man.
Well, it's the 30s, you know.
Yeah, he's liable to get shot.
Yeah, but it's the 30s. Nobody cares about
Kids
health and
shot.
Safety and child endangerment and shit like that.
Oh, is he going to emote? I'll just
No, he's just... that's his way of emoting, is throwing things.
So rather than actually propose, he just lobbed a ring at her and then left.
Yeah, I think the implication was enough. See, she gets it. Or maybe that's another friendship ring. Oh, I'm sorry, Tess, you misunderstood this situation entirely. This was a friendship ring, not a proposal.
I kind of like that, Dan.
I wouldn't actually be surprised if the wedding ring, the engagement ring at the end there was the same one that he gave to Madonna. The end. What a good, silly movie that was. I really like it.
It was pretty good.
It's unusual, and you don't see anything like this these days. You would never get away with making this kind of shit these days.
I mean, you would, but it would have to be really low budget and straight to video, and nobody would see it.
Yeah, it would just it would go like straight to streaming and just get totally, lost in the wash of content there, But
yeah, when I say straight to DVD, that's my self-speaking.
Yes.
What I really mean is straight to streaming.
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
so there it is. That's Dick Tracy. Thank you everyone for listening to this thing. If in fact you did.
I hope you did, because we had a laugh. It's a good film.
It was good fun. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.